Okay, so I know I might regret this, but in today's video, I am going to be attempting to make a to-do list application complete with the GUI and, well, saving tasks and then reading from the tasks, making sure that you don't lose out. And I don't know how I feel about this all, but it's a task that I think would be worthy and definitely would be maybe fun. I think it might be fun. I already have an idea how it's going to go. It's all about you know, the coding bit of it. Now, I'm not going to record me making the GUI because that always takes me a bunch of time to create and get it right. So I'm going to be doing this offline, if you know what I mean. I'm not going to record this, and then I'm just going to show you the finished version of the GUI, and then we're going to probably do the methods towards how everything is going to work. So I'm going to shut up and come back to you guys when I have created the GUI. Let's get into it. Right, so the UI and a little bit of the functionality is now complete, and I'm very glad I did not do this on recording because it would have been a very long time recording. But yeah, it's basically finished. Let me show you what it actually looks like. All right, so here we are. This is what it looks like. Please don't judge. It has taken me so long to actually finish this project, to actually create everything. So you'll notice, first of all, you obviously have a checkbox here and then a label, so that when you check it, you know, it disappears. It doesn't exactly disappear, it just grays out the text so that you know that you've completed it. And then if you want to see more of it because it's too long to be seen here, then you just left click and it shows you the entire thing here. And then let's say you wanted to modify it, you right click and yeah, it gives you that. And let's say you wanted to delete it, you just press delete. But because it's the first thing, it cannot be empty, so it refuses to be empty. This is the refuse to be empty exception, by the way. As you can see right down here, I assume there's one task remaining, refuse to be empty exception. It's absolutely pretty cool. And yeah, let's say you want to add a new note, you just press insert and you can add a new note. So buy milk, for example, enter buy milk, and yeah, you can check this one all the same. And then you can delete it. It's pretty cool. And this is the name of it. This is how it actually works. So the name here is going to take your username, the first 5 letters of your username, just like the way Microsoft does whenever you create a new, whenever you reinstall Windows using a Microsoft account. It just takes the first 5 letters of your email and uses it as a username. So yeah, we've done the exact same thing here. This is the to-do class. And let me just scroll to show you how much code there is in here. There's absolutely a lot. So we're going to start off here. We've got a panel, we've got an item map, which is how I'm linking the checkbox to the JLabel, and then we've got a previous items to map down which item is the previous one, so that whenever you add a new task, it creates a new task below the previous task. So first of all, we obviously have the frame. We've set the frame's title, size, all this stuff, the key listeners. Here we have an image icon, which actually places the icon. We've got the Jake checkbox and the JLabel, which is going to be the first task that you find whenever you launch this. So there's that. Set the panel, and then this is a scroll pane, which is what allows the window to be scrollable whenever you fill out the page. And we've wrapped the panel inside this scroll pane. That's how it scrolls. I have disabled horizontal scrolling here, and then a bunch of other these settings. And then I've set a custom scroll bar to make sure that it's completely invisible. You can't see it. Otherwise, it'll just be like a weird white bar on the frame, which is not something we want. And then obviously, this is all the settings that we've created here. So that's as far as the UI go. Now let me tell you more about the bit of how it functions. So first of all, we have the set completed, which is run whenever you click on whenever you check an item, right? Next up, we've got the add task, which is what adds the task, as you might imagine. So this is the show task, which is what is called whenever you actually left click a JLabel. So if the color of the JLabel is dark gray, it essentially means that the task is completed, so you cannot see. And then this show message dialog, this is just going to show you the entire text, which, well, that's exactly what it's for. And then up next, we have this delete last task method, which essentially just deletes the last task. Unfortunately, I couldn't add in the feature to actually just delete whichever task you wanted to. So if you delete you're gonna have to actually delete the last item that was added, because deleting something that wasn't the last item, it would require me to reposition the notes to take the place of the one that was deleted, and that's just a pain on its own. I have been at this for days. I think it's something that I can definitely live without. All right, up next we have got this logic. So if the map item map.size is equal to 1, this means that there's one task left. That's when we throw this refuse to be empty exception right here. And then the next, this is just a method, a helper method to this edit task, which is what happens when you right click. So it's going to actually show this change task. It's going to get the text. So basically just going to wrap it. If it's longer than, I think, 30 characters, yeah, longer than 30, it will just bring the ellipsis to let you know that there's more going on, so you can edit it. So if the text is not equal to null, if the text is equal to null, you can return so that no errors are thrown. And then you set the text to whatever text you get. And then up next, we have got this private action listener, get action listener. All this does is it runs the set completed method. We've got the private get key listener, which is the key listener. So yeah, it overrides all this. So if the button pressed is insert, then we will add a task. If it's delete, we will delete task, and then we will catch a refuse to be empty exception if it's thrown, if it's essentially showing it refuses to be empty. That's all that we did to that. And then yeah, here we have a mouse listener. So mouse listener clicks. When it's clicked, it will show the task name. This is the left click function. And then if the button is equal to mouse event button 3 is the right click. So if the button pressed is the right click, you edit the task. And yeah, that's about it. That's all the code. So now the only thing that I'm having an issue is obviously the moment you run it and then you close it, and then when you run it again, you'll see buy milk has disappeared. Even if we modify it, it's not saving the state, which is what it remains to be done for this to be a fully functioning one. So that's what I'm going to be doing right now. I think I've taken up a lot of time just explaining the code here, so I think we're definitely going to be just speed running through making this in this task manager class. Okay, so I've just finished up with the save method, and I think it's pretty cool. I better hurry because I think there's a storm coming. I'll not be able to record in the storm. Okay, so we have this create save file, which all it does is just creates a new directory. The do tasks on your desktop, and then it also creates the save file itself. So var, oh, not the rain, man, dang it. So this save file will be the file path plus the file name. So it's going to create a tasks.file on your desktop, and then basically it's just gonna see if it actually if it exists. If it doesn't exist, it will return false. This is a Boolean method, by the way. So it's going to try to write each and every task. So this is a JLabel task, and then we can say task.getText. So it's going to write each and every task name, and then escape sequence for a new line, and then it's going to flush, and then it's going to return true if it manages to save everything. If it doesn't save everything or the file doesn't exist, it's going to return false. Okay, so a lot more time has passed. This method has been an absolute pain in the butt, but I think I finally found something that actually works. So we have these parameters, so a list of checkboxes, previous items, an action listener, mouse listener, a map of checkbox of JCheckbox and JLabel, item map, a panel, and a frame. So first of all, we're going to check if the file actually exists. If it doesn't, it's going to return false, but if it does, then we are going to attempt to read the file. So string task will be equal to reader.readLine, which will like read the lines that exist in the file. And then as long as they're not null, we're going to read the task file. So this method here is to actually populate the list of previous items, and the map here, and also the frame, of course. So if previous items is empty, which because of this is the first item on the list, it's not going to have any like parent that it can see to, so we're just gonna have to manually set those bounds. So I've actually set these to be 30 pixels apart in terms of vertically. So the first one is going to be at 17. The first one is actually set at 17. So 17 minus 30 equals negative 13. So the first one will be here. But if it's not empty, then we're just going to get the last one in the thing. So we're going to get the X, which is the location. So new item, we're going to actually set it. So as you can see, Y plus 30 to be always 30 pixels above 30 pixels below the previous one. And yeah, we've actually set the action listener, added it to the panel, and then new item. So new item label. Here it's going to get x, and then it'll be x minus 7, and then we get the frame dot get width minus 100, setting the font, setting the text color, and yeah, I think everything works pretty well. Okay, so now that's left is for us to actually incorporate this into the thing itself. So here's what we're going to do. First of all, we're going to need to save a bunch of times. So I want to save each and every time we make a change. So if we add a new one, or we modify, or we delete, I kind of want it to change. So because of this, let's actually get rid of that space. So because of this, we're going to have to start with saving. So first of all, when we add an item, we want to actually save. So if task manager dot save with the item map as a parameter, we want print out. So we're going to print out save successful, like that. But then obviously we do have this exception to catch, so we're just going to surround this with a try catch IO exception, and we're actually going to print out. So we're going to say SOUT, but we're not going to print to out. Instead, we're going to print to err. And what this does is it's the same thing as print line, but then instead of being in white, it's going to be printed in red to show that it's an error. So we're going to print out encountered. Yeah, that works. And then we can copy that. And then, yeah, when we delete the task, we want the same thing to happen. And then finally, when we edit the task, we also want the same thing to happen. So just like that. And now we just need to actually read it. So the reading is going to be done at the top here. So we're going to create everything. And then what I want to happen is if task manager dot read, they're going to need to pass in all this stuff here. So first of all, we need a list of, so I'm going to need the previous items here. Previous items, and then followed by an action listener. So I can say get action listener, and then get mouse listener. And then we're going to need a map, so we can say item map. Next up, we need the panel, so we just pass in panel. And then finally, you can pass in this as the frame. So, actually, no. So this is going to return true if it actually reads. So if it doesn't read successful, that means that the file doesn't exist. So if it doesn't exist, we want to actually add in these default items here. So something like, gonna cut that out, and then we can put this in, although this also needs to be up there along with everything else. So yeah, that should work. And now we just have to catch the exception, which does mean that we need to surround this with try catch. So we don't need to use that at all. I mean, you obviously need to add that in. You can print the stack trace if you want to see what the problem is, but I'm pretty certain this won't cause any problems. So I'm just gonna go on faith here. So SOUT, but instead of out, we're gonna print to the files, no save files. Yeah, like that. And I think that's everything we're going to need. So we're gonna run this. Oh boy. No such element exception. Oh, okay, yeah. I forgot about this. This is supposed to be equal to a new J checkbox. That should completely get rid of the problem. Okay, so we can now run this. And yeah, modify the source code because the existing code sucks a pop. Yeah, so you can see we have that one. Now let's try adding in a new one. So press insert, and then we can say by milk, and then we can add another one. Ask her out, and finally maybe bring. So I have these, and then we're also going to modify this one. So right click, and we're going to say improvise. So save. So it is saving all of these, as you can see. So save successful, and then we should be able to close it. And now when we run it, it should have the exact tasks all over. Yes! Yeah, it works. It absolutely works. Oh my days, that is so cool actually. Yeah, that is absolutely amazing. Yo, okay, wait. Let's try editing something like that's by milk. Let's edit that to instead be bring home a chicken. So save successful. We can now close this. And yeah, bring home a chicken. And now if we delete these two, it's saving successful. And then we can close it and then rerun it. It saves those two. This is amazing. Oh my days, that is so cool. Okay, now I'm actually gonna confess I was absolutely afraid of actually opening up the notepad because I'm in light mode. It's during the day, so my PC is always in light mode during the day, and it's gonna be very bright. So I'm very sorry I have to do this to you. Let's now go to the tasks. So as you can see, we've got this. So in theory, we should be able to add a new item to here by just maybe adding it in. So I can say keep the clock. I just need to make sure to actually add in a new line after each and every task. So I can say operate the drill, for example. So operate the drill, and then we can save it, and then we can, yeah, let's close that, and then let's run it again. It should have those two new. Yes, operate the drill, perfect. And then yeah, I can disable, enable, you can edit it. I also have this added, so blank rename, canceling. Yeah, we can literally do any one of these. And let's actually see how dynamic it actually updates. So we have these here, right? So we're gonna switch this aside. And then we're going to add a new task. So we're gonna say make the bed, for example. We're gonna add a new task. Save successful, and then if we come to this file, as you can see, it automatically updates. Let's try editing keep the clock to be oof, and then we come here, it only edits oof. That is amazing. Yeah, I think we have a fully functioning app here. Oh yeah, okay, and then yeah, here's the exception. So if you have more than one, it says refuses to be empty. Now if we go here, we only have one. Literally just improvise. Okay, I actually dread to see what will happen when I actually completely delete everything. What's that gonna do? I think it's gonna throw some sort of like, I don't know, some kind of exception. Problems what? Wait, what? That's not supposed to happen. Did it like? Wait, hold on a second. Did I not? Oh, I forgot to save it, didn't I? Oh my days, that is so annoying. Okay, I am so stupid. I forgot to save it. Okay, you know what? Let's save that and then let's see what happens. It's probably gonna throw an exception. It's an empty, and no exceptions thrown. For context, there's always supposed to be at least one task. Okay, so it's taking me a little bit of extra time here, but I think we finally managed to get the fix. So yeah, so if the first line here is null, or it's blank, or it's empty, we're going to return false, effectively meaning that we should add in the default task, basically. Yeah, so if it's not, then we're just going to first of all add that to the list, and then we're going to continue on adding the rest. Should be pretty straightforward. And as you can see, the task here is completely empty and null, so we can now wait, I should probably make sure that there's no like extra spaces here. So just to ensure, so yeah, something like that, and then clear it, and then we can close it, run this. It should have the default task. Boom. And then obviously you can go about modifying it. So just call it modified, so it's saved, and then we can close, and then we can rerun, and then it should only have modify. There we go. It works. Everything works as intended. I am so happy. This has taken me way longer than I ever expected it to. I mean, I knew I was gonna regret it, obviously, but days. It's taken me days to get everything right, but it fully works, and I think I might just fully drive it now as my note, as my my to-do list, just to show I'm really proud of it. And all of this with literally zero issues. I mean, okay, this is not really an issue. As you can see, there's literally no problems, but then I think it's just maybe it's just bugs like that. So yeah, this project has been definitely definitely a good learning experience for me because I've learned how action listeners work. I've also learned how scroll panes work and how to actually wrap something in a scroll. It's absolutely amazing. And I've also learned how all of these work, but the mouse pressed event buttons and all of this. There's a lot that I've learned from this, and I'm really hoping that you can learn a little something as well from this, as usual. Or, wait, how many lines is it? Um, all 312 lines are going to be available in my GitHub if you would like to check out the code. All of that's going to be available, linked up in the description if you want to check that out. Thank you guys so much for watching. This video took me a decent amount of time to make, so if you could hit that subscribe button, could really, really help a guy out. Notifications on if you want to get notified each and every time I upload the next video. I'll hopefully see you guys in the next one. Peace.